So I did Party Next Door.
P&D.
Yep. Never really listened to him before. Like, I've heard a couple of songs he's done with Kanye over the years.
Yep.
That's about it.
I know he's got... I have listened to his albums. What's he got?
He's got...
Party Next Door 3.
Yeah, or Party Next Door 2, Party Next Door 3, and then he's just got 2 EPs that were released 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, on Party Next Door, July 2013, he sounds very like sort of Drake inspired, and The Weeknd as well. Obviously, you know, he's like signed to Drake as well as having like several Drake features throughout his discography. He sounded more like The Weeknd, but with Drake's content, because The Weeknd is like about just like, you know, hard drugs, prostitutes, you know, getting a table designed specifically for snorting cocaine off of.
Yeah.
And Party Next Door's content is much similar to Drake's, where he's just like, I love you, please come back. Yeah, I like girls. Like, I do like the Party Next Door. That's sort of playing him down a fair bit, but he is good. In Was Good / Curious as well, I'll play that. He sounds like exactly like Drake. Like, I thought that it was an uncredited feature at first. Like, that sounds so much like Drake.
It does.
He was only 19 at that point as well. So, obviously very young, and, you know, sort of, he, like, at that age, he'd be looking up to people and trying to do what his idols are doing. So, we'll sort of just have to see if he ends up making his own sound or not. But he definitely does have elements that are him. Like, the breaks at the end of some of the songs, he's got, like, trumpets sort of coming in. I love that. Love a good trumpet.
Yeah.
It sounds really, really good. The track with Drake, Over Here, has a line that perfectly describes R&B. All I ever asked for was patience. Patience and pussy, but mostly patience.
There you go.
I think that encapsulates R&B as an entirety. The last song has like a spoken hook, and he's got a really good voice. He raps a little bit later on, and he is good. But yeah, I do wish that he sort of incorporates his normal voice more. As a whole, his first album, it's very sort of taken from his idols. Like, the sound that he's making is obviously heavily inspired from other people in the game. Production is fucking on point as well, all self-produced, so he can make everything just fit. I really like that he keeps that up. I really hope that he keeps that up. Everything I can say about this album just describes every R&B album. So if you like R&B or like good R&B, it's really good, and you haven't listened to his first album yet, heavily recommend it. So in 2014, which is 1 year later, he released Party Next Door 2, and he sounds like a separate entity in this track. I didn't really feel it for the first half of the album. It did take him a while to find his footing, but when he found it...
He found it.
Mate, Drake is quaking. The Weeknd's creaking.
The Weeknd is creaking.
I really liked the end part of SLS, where he like brings the energy up. He's singing much louder. The drums are hitting harder. That shit is good. The third track, Sex on the Beach, is like... that's the first beat that's not produced by P&D. I like it, but I didn't like the bit at the start. He like sort of cut everything out. I'll play that for a little bit. Sex on the Beach. It's sort of like... I don't know how to describe it. Like, the beat sort of sounds far away, and then it just stops for like a couple seconds, and then comes up back full bull. I'm not really a fan of it. So it's kind of like the beat's underwater. I do really like the little like flume sample. Disclosure, sorry. That sounds really cool. I don't actually know when this break comes in.
Sounds like a bloody... like a fire... like a hurricane alarm or something.
Yeah. There it just stops. And then... why did it come back so suddenly? Like, it could have just had a nice swell and then hit. That would have sounded so much better. But instead it just hits all of a sudden. Like, you know, R&B is about vibes, and that did mess with the vibe. It really sort of brought it out of the song and like into your own head, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He had a really good run from Her Way to Grown Woman, where he really found his groove. It was him, and it sounded really good. On Grown Woman, there was a little bit of like distorted bass that would come in for a second. It kind of sounded like the beat switch from Sicko Mode. You know, the bow, bow. Yeah, it sounded really cool. The aggressiveness of it sounded really good, like under his silky voice.
Yeah.
FWU, which stands for fuck with you. He had like this air horn kind of sound, and they did not sound very good.
Rip.
On the track Recognize, he had the Drake feature.
You better recognize when I see.
And
I really want you.
He was running laps around Drake. I think he murdered the track. Like, that was back in 2014, so Drake wasn't like the megastar that he is now. Yeah, he's still very well known, but not like he's like top of the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to give Drake full credit for that, but P&D knocked that one out of the park. On Options, he rapped, and yeah, he did sound really, really good. He had this little scream ad-lib thing at the first half of Thirsty. And it just reminds me of, like... Have you seen Garfield?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, ages ago, though.
Alright, it's coming up here. I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na. Hit a little,
Yeah,
I don't know if that scream thing was actually taken from that song or not, but it sounds so similar. I'm going to hold it pretty close to the mic. Like, that's...
I know what you're talking
That's
about.
the I Feel Good song. But, yeah, the closing track, Muse, was solid, and then the outro came on. And it's a sample from Only When You're Lonely by Genuine. It's pitched down, slowed down, and it sounds amazing. I was also glad that this album was mostly produced by P&D. Like, there are only one or two tracks that weren't, and it definitely helps the project work with him. I really like this one, maybe not as much as his first one. This one sort of like, it had higher points, but his first album was more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
They move it on to Party Next Door 3, 2016, 2 years later. The first track is fucking artistic. High Hopes. It goes for like 7 minutes. It's like R&B meets A$AP Rocky meets a 60s horror movie.
I thought you were about to say it meets 69. Like, meets 69. Do you reckon he hates being called 69?
Oh, probably. That's funny. 69. But yeah, that song is really, really good. This man is growing a lot. And like, not just in writing and singing as well, but like producing. This album is so much more solid all throughout. The second track is like a really cool like album rewind, or sorry, track rewind kind of sound at the end of each verse as it goes into the chorus. You know, I don't really know how to do it. You know, track rewinding. I'll add in the sound so the people know.
Yep.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like the
Kind of thing.
rewind sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like a commonly known sound or not.
Right.
So yeah, that sounds really, really cool. And the third track, there's like a super high-pitched like little vocal chop in there. Like, it's only little, but it adds so much to the track. The fourth track, though, Not Nice, is not produced by him, and you can tell. Like, the vibe isn't as dark. It's actually like a little bit poppy, which does not suit P&D. Like, that's not what he does. And the exact same thing with the next two tracks as well. Only You, Don't Know How. They were, yeah, very poppy. But then Problems and Selfless came on. Produced by G-Ry, I think. That's how you say it. G, full stop, R-Y.
I know.
It's amazing. Realistically, the production didn't really need too much. The track was like split into two. First half, on Problems, he says that he has two beautiful women fighting over him. He loves it. And he says that he hopes his son has this problem. But then in the second half, Selfless, he explains all the other shit that could happen from that and implies that he does not want it anymore. And he says, why is this happening to me? I'm selfless. He obviously tells the story much better than that, but all the production needed was like some slow pitch down drums with a slow wavy synth, and that's what it had. It did sound really good. Temptations, he's back onto the producing, and it does just work so much better. If you don't understand like what I mean when I say it's better when an artist produces for themselves, listen to this album. Don't get up the lyrics or anything. You can pick out just by sound which one he has produced and which one he hasn't. Like when he makes it, there's changes in the melody of the beat to suit what he's doing with his voice. Like the different pitch changes, the different inflections, it's all reflected in the beat. I said a couple of weeks ago too in an album review, I forget which one, but there was an artist who usually produces for himself and he has someone else producing with him.
Logic.
And nah. And then there was a song where only he produced it and it sounded like it was missing something. And I think it's just like a whole new set of eyes looking at like the patterns and breaking them down in an entirely different way. Transparency, which is another song of his, also shows this. The production is next level amazing. And in that track, I actually think it outshines P&D as a vocalist. There's 3 producers working on that one, P&D, Nino, and Business Boy. I'm not sure which of them is responsible for that bass line, but fucking well done. That shit is dirty. Like I listened to it in the shower. I needed to soap up again after hearing that.
Dirty.
That's properly dirty. Brown Skin was easily his most experimental on the project. I'll play it in a little bit, but he had like these church bell noises in there, and it's kind of like church bell cross a wind instrument. I don't really know what it is, but I don't think it sounds very good. Like, that's not just used for the intro, that's throughout the whole beat.
It's a triangle.
No, what... I don't know what...
No, it's like a piano. It's just pitched.
No, that's like a... Oh, it could be a piano. Yeah, no, I don't feel them at all. I do have to say, too, though, Come and See Me... Fucking hell. Production is fucking clean. Produced by 40, not P&D, and 40 perfectly captured the vibe that P&D was laying down. Drake's verse was super cold as well. That's easily the best track on the album.
They have a hard line on there when he's like, I hear you saying we now. No, what's he say? He says like, oh, you say we. I didn't know you speak French now. He's obviously talking about like we,
yeah.
Me, and you.
And he's like, no, that's not even a possibility. You're speaking a whole different language.
Yeah, because we is yes in French. So.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. That's got layers to it.
Yeah,
like an ogre.
I'm with the gang right now.
I think that to me was the best track on the album, and I wish he ended it there. It was the second last one, and yeah, the next track wasn't too good.
It's one of my favorite P&D songs.
What?
Come and See Me.
Yeah, that is a really good one. But that's
a good one.
That's my favorite album of his as well.
Nice.
Really, really solid all throughout. Then moving on to his EPs, he's got 2, both released in 2017. Colours 2, released in June. It's only 4 tracks long, but it is tidy.
No, the other one didn't come out in 2017, did it?
Yeah, both of them came out.
I swear he had one that came out last year. Wait, last year wasn't 2017, right?
No, last year was 2018. June 2017 and September 2017.
Oh.
September 29th to be exact. But yeah, so Colours 2, it's only 4 tracks long, so I don't have too much to talk about. Being only 17 minutes long, just go listen to it. You don't really need me to tell you what your opinion should be. But it's a really good R&B track or project. I think the first track is the best, and it sort of slowly declines. Like, the last one's really, really good, so don't be twisting my words. But yeah, the first one's easily the best. And then the 7 Days EP, released only a couple of months later. It's another short one, 7 tracks long. And he finally introduced his producer tag here. He's gone, 3 years without one.
Right.
It's just, party.
Or cut your body.
It definitely could be better. The chorus on the first track is catchy as Bad Intentions. And of course, it goes like, I'm a bad influence, yeah, yeah, yeah. Bet I'll make you do it, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you said I wouldn't, yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is super catchy. Like, I'm not going to sing because I can't sing, but he doesn't do much energy either. So I think it could have sounded a lot better. I'm going to play the next song as well, Never Played Me. I don't remember why I'm playing it, but we'll get back to that. Oh yeah, the beat is so nice. This is just hard. Oh, that's a tag. Oh, that... I don't like those chords, the piano chords. That's nice.
Sounds like Young Thug.
That a lot of people... So, like, in the refrain of that song, he sounds so much more like him.
Drake did the best Young Thug impression.
Did he?
Yeah, I'll get that song up. But yeah, that does sound like Thugger.
I think here is the refrain. No. Oh, there it was. That's 100% Thugger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good track, but... So what's a Drake track?
Oh, I'm trying to find it. Let me... Oh, that's in playlist, that's why. Oh, albums. Is it, I can't remember what it's called.
Alright, I'm going to move on. Jump in whenever you find it.
Yep.
Damage is the next track up. It features Halsey, and I don't remember which show we talked about this, whether it was the Monday show or the Friday show, so I don't know if you guys have heard this yet or not. But like I like Halsey. She's on sort of like the brink of pop.
Yeah.
She's like mainstream but indie. I think that's sort of what it is.
Right.
But adding her to this song really made it sound poppin', like took him out of like R&B. And yeah, I don't really think that was... well, it's not really my thing.
Yep.
I don't think it's P&D's either. Better Man had a feature that surprised me. Fat Motherfucker was on there. Ricky Ross the boss. And he fucking killed it. Like, yeah, those two sounded really good. Like, P&D's silky voice, Rick Ross with his just dog bark of a voice. Yeah. That shit was nice. And please go listen to The Right Way. Pause this video right now. Go listen to The Right Way and come back. I'll give you a second. How good was that? That shit is such a good song. Like, the beautiful acoustic guitar. Like, as he's just singing softly, I could just feel the silk coming out of the man's mouth.
His mouth.
That song is beautiful. That's one of my favourite songs of his of all time. And then maybe I was wrong about all the producer stuff that I was saying earlier. There was not a single track on this album that was produced by him, and yet it was the cleanest production I've heard, like, on a track of his. Maybe you just need to work closely with the producer. I don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't know what happens behind the track. Like, I don't know how much communication there is between the producer and the artist.
Yeah.
Like, I do know that people just buy beats and then rap on it, or just given beats and then rap on it. But maybe that, like, people like P&D, Danny Brown, Kevin Abstract are working really closely with their producers. Like, they could be standing behind them and just say, oh, I like change like this note there. That's really nice.
Yeah. And
they could just be working with them, like giving them feedback in real time.
You ever watch that YouTube series, Kenny in the Cave? Or Kenny Beats in the Cave?
Yeah, when Peggy was on it.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember that specific one. I'm pretty sure I remember watching it. Oh, he was one of the first ones, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the first. I think it was like the second episode or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
That's probably what they do. Just work in the studio side by side.
I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, are you finished? Because I have that Drake's on, but I'll wait.
I've got a little bit more, but you go.
No, you go. Finish it off.
All right. But this last project was really, really good. 7 Days, like, easily my favourite one. But on the last song, he did like a scream kind of thing.
Right.
And it did not sound good to me. It just like ruined it a little bit. I'll play that. That's about a minute in if you want to like find the scream for some reason. But that's a beautiful beat. So you can hear him sort of like vocalising there, or harmonising, that's what it's called. And that's nice. That's bad. And that's the only point in the song that he does that. Now, it sounds like he's in pain.
Sounds like he's in pain.
I'm not a fan of that, but other than that weird scream thing, that is a solid album. Or project, because it's an EP.
There you go.
Yeah, so what's the song?
Alright, the song is called Mob Ties by Drake. Now,
Oh, yeah?
Now, understand that Young Thug is not on this song.
I don't believe you. That sounds like Young Thug right there. Yeah. So that's Drake. You can kind of hear like the Drake voice when he slows down the last word.
That's obviously Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song actually goes hard.
That sounds a lot like Thugger.
Yeah.
I will give you
I'm
that.
pretty sure Thug is doing ad-libs, because if it's not, then Drake has mastered Young Thug's ad-libs at least. Because the ad-libs in the background where he's like, yup,
Yeah.
it sounds exactly like him.